Imagine being so shy, you go through entire middle school with zero friends. Not one. Not even by accident. Yeah, that's our boy Rado. Social skills? Missing, gone, deleted. But now he enters high school thinking, new life, new me. I will make friends. Bro really woke up and chose confidence skull. Since childhood, Rado has been quiet and reserved, which is a fancy way of saying he has no idea how to talk to humans. So this time, he decides to try. He looks around the class, targets the easiest option, the girl sitting next to him. Smart move, or so he thought. He checks her notebook for her name and says, "Good morning." And she doesn't respond. Not even a blink. Nothing. Bro just got ignored like a spam message. Rado starts overthinking immediately. Maybe she didn't see my face. Yeah bro, because you're invisible, right? Loudly crying face, so he tries smiling, except his face doesn't change at all. Man really said neutral face but expected grinning face with smiling eyes. Still, he doesn't give up. He goes, "Nice weather today, isn't it?" And again, silence. At this point, even the weather feels awkward. But Rado? He's committed. He keeps trying, keeps talking, and she keeps ignoring him like he's background noise. School ends. Still not a single word. Not even whom. Not even go away. Nothing. As he leaves, he feels kinda sad. But then, he hears something. Like she said something. But too late. Bro just walks away like, yeah, I'm not built for this. Next day, round 2 begins. She drops her eraser. Rado picks it up like a gentleman, gives it back, and guess what? No response again. Now Rado's brain goes wild. Maybe she's some popular idol, with a high attitude. Bro created a whole backstory just to cope skull. But after class, she suddenly gets super close to him. Like, personal space? Never heard of it. Rado is like, why are you this close? Then she whispers something, but her voice is so low, even ghosts are louder than her. So she leans in even closer, and finally says she forgot her book. So now they're sharing one book, sitting super close. Like, uncomfortably close. At this point, Rado doesn't know if this is friendship or a test. During lunch, she straight up clings to him and tries to feed him. Bro didn't sign up for this level of relationship. Loudly crying face. After school, she grabs him and drags him along like they're dating already. Rado thinks, oh, we're going home. Nope. She takes him to games, photos, full date mode. They even take cute pictures together. My guy skipped friendship and unlocked relationship DLC skull. Then they go to karaoke, she sings. And no sound comes out. Not even the mic can hear her loudly crying face. Next day, Rado says hi. And again, silence. At this point, bro is mentally exhausted. Then he notices she forgot her book again. This girl is consistent, at least. So Rado goes to her himself this time and offers to share. And finally, she explains everything. Turns out, she's also extremely shy. But instead of staying far away, she gets way too close to people. And people don't like that, so they leave her. So she always thought she was just annoying. Rado listens and says, nah, you're normal. Which is debatable, but okay. Loudly crying face. Hearing that, she gets shy, but also happy. And from that moment, she sticks even closer to him. Yeah, bro created his own problem. Next day, she meets him at the gate trying to say something again, but of course, he still can't hear her. So what does Rado do? He goes home and starts learning lip reading. Bro is studying just to understand one girl skull. Even his exams didn't get this effort. He practices with his sister, tries everything, but still struggles. Next day, Rado comes fully prepared. Bro brought a notebook to communicate. Finally, some progress. He writes to her, and she replies, but goes completely overboard. Like bro asked hello, and she wrote a whole essay. Skull. Rado's like, yeah, maybe chill a little. But this man doesn't stop there. Next day, he pulls up with hand signs, Morse code, and even a pigeon. Bro brought a whole communication starter pack. Loudly crying face. At this point, even you watching are like, just talk normally bro, and guess what? None of it works. Zero success. All that effort, for nothing. Then suddenly, Aharon comes close and says, thank you. And this time, Rado actually hears it. Bro finally unlocked audio mode headphone. He immediately apologizes like, sorry for making you talk louder. And she's like, I'm speaking normally. Which means, bro's ears were the real problem. Skull. Later, they pass by the game center again. And suddenly, Aharon disappears. Rado is like, where did she go? He finds her, staring intensely at a claw machine. Like her life depends on it. Rado decides to be a hero. He tries to win a toy for her. And spends all his money. And wins absolutely nothing. Bro got scammed by a machine. Loudly crying face. Just when he's about to give up, Aharon steps in. Rado thinks she's just trying for fun. Nope. She wins on the first try. And then, she keeps winning. Again, and again, and again. At this point, even the machine is scared of her. She collects a whole army of dolls, and gives them all to Rado. Bro went from broke to plushie dealer real quick. Skull. He feels bad, so he lets her keep one. Wow, such generosity. Loudly crying face. Next day, lunchtime again. Aharon notices Rado has no food. He explains his mom is out of town, so he's surviving on packaged food. Basically, he's struggling. Aharon sees this and shares her lunch. Sounds normal, right? No. She literally tries to put the entire lunchbox into his mouth. Bro is getting force-fed like a baby, loudly crying face. Next day in class, Aharon is so tired, she just sleeps the whole time. No effort, no shame, just sleep. Honestly, relatable. At lunch, Rado was about to leave, but she stops him. She brought lunch for him today. Then, without hesitation, she lays her head on his lap and falls asleep. Yeah, we skipped friendship again. We are deep into relationship DLC now, skull. Next day, Rado sees her, and she looks beat up. Man panics instantly. Who did this? She calmly says, it's nothing. Apparently something got in her eye, and she kept walking into things. So basically, she fought walls and lost, loudly crying face. Rado gives her eye drops. She tries to use them, and completely misses. Sprays her whole face. Not even close. So Rado helps her. As he gets close, she suddenly shuts her eyes tight. He gently holds her face, and finally puts the drops in. Success. Dr. Rado unlocked stethoscope. But then she says, don't get so close. I get shy. Girl, you literally sit on him every day, skull. Later in class, she's sleeping again. Rado tries to wake her, but notices something weird. Someone is watching them. Not once, not twice, multiple times. Bro finally confirms it. Opens the door and sees a tall girl standing there, looking angry. Rado is like, yeah, I'm dead. But plot twist, she's not angry. She's just extremely nervous. Aharon sees her and recognizes her. They go to the rooftop, and the girl Mitsuki starts crying in Aharon's lap. After calming down, she reveals the truth. She's Aharon's childhood friend. And her mission? Protect Aharon from bad boys. And yes, she thinks Rado is a bad boy. Bro, this guy? Skull Mitsuki is literally scared of him. And Rado is like, what did I even do? Luckily, Aharon steps in. She tells Mitsuki that Rado is kind, which is the first time someone said that to him, loudly crying face. Mitsuki finally leaves, but still keeps stalking them secretly. Yeah, we now have a full-time spy. So next day, Aharon notices something very serious. Rado forgot to zip his pants. Yeah, bro came to school like that, skull. She tries to tell him, but she has a cold. Her nose is blocked, her voice is gone, so whatever she says sounds like a broken radio. Result? Rado hears nothing. In class, Aharon is sitting quietly, and Rado thinks, wow, she looks really energetic today. Bro, she's literally suffering, loudly crying face. Then the teacher asks for a volunteer to solve a math problem. Rado starts raising his hand like, yeah, I got this. Aharon panics. She immediately raises her own hand, because she knows, if this guy stands up, it's game over, skull. She goes to the board, solves the problem correctly, and even draws something extra, trying to warn him. But Rado looks at it like, interesting art. Bro still doesn't get it, loudly crying face. Later in art class, Rado volunteers to be the model. Aharon tries to stop him like, no, too late. Teacher selects both of them. Yeah, now it's even worse. Then Rado goes to the bathroom. Aharon is like, finally, he'll fix it now. He comes back, same face, same walk, zip still open. This man learned nothing, skull. At this point, Aharon realizes she has to protect this guy's dignity herself. So the entire day, she's on a secret mission, save Rado from embarrassment. After school, they walk home together. Aharon runs ahead, tries to block, you know what, and Rado? Still clueless. Man is living peacefully in ignorance, loudly crying face. Then finally, he sees his reflection in a glass window. This is it, the moment of truth. But instead of noticing the problem, he gets distracted by Aharon's hair. Bro priorities are completely wrong, skull. Aharon is now done, emotionally exhausted. That night, his sister looks at him and goes, your zip? And that's when his soul leaves his body. Full realization hits. Next day, he skips school. Yeah, bro deleted himself from existence, loudly crying face. Meanwhile at school, Aharon is just staring out the window. Mitsuki sees this and thinks, she must have forgotten her umbrella. So she throws her umbrella, like a ninja. Aharon sees something flying at her, and thinks, yup, this is a bomb. Turns out, it's just an umbrella. Relax. Mitsuki gives it to the teacher. Later, she secretly puts it on Aharon's desk. Aharon comes back, sees the umbrella, and gets scared. She thinks it's cursed. So what does she do? Performs a whole ritual on the spot. Yeah, exorcism mode activated, loudly crying face. Then she notices Mitsuki watching her, and gets shocked. After school, they walk home together under the same umbrella. During the walk, Aharon says, I know you've been stalking me. Mitsuki freezes, but instead of getting mad, Aharon thanks her. Yeah, normal reaction, totally, loudly crying face. Next day, Rado and Aharon are walking again, and Mitsuki is stalking them, from even farther away. But guess what? They still notice her. Worst spy ever, skull. Next day, Rado looks at Aharon and goes, "Why does she look like she joined a rock band overnight? Her hair is completely messed up." He asks what happened. She says, "I didn't sleep well." Simple. Meanwhile, Rado already created a whole anime backstory in his head skull. They go to the locker room, and Rado decides to fix her hair. Bold move, very risky. Then he gets an idea, let's call Mitsuki. Yeah, the same girl who thinks he's a criminal, loudly crying face. They bring Mitsuki in, and she immediately tries to escape. Understandable. Rado stops her like, "We need your help." She agrees, and then we find out her family owns a salon. So yeah, she's basically a pro. She starts styling Aharon's hair. Rado was worried like, "Please don't mess this up," but surprisingly, she does an amazing job. Glow up complete sparkles. Aharon goes to the bathroom, and Rado starts thinking, I could also get a haircut. Bro really saw free service and said, "Yeah, me too, skull." He asks Mitsuki to cut his hair. At first, he's scared like, she might shave my head for revenge. Fair concern, honestly, loudly crying face. But nope, she gives him a perfect haircut. Now both of them looking fresh. Later, they go for lunch, but Rado notices, Aharon looks worried again. He asks what's wrong. She says her lips and skin are cracking. She pulls out lip balm, tries to apply it, and completely fails. Again, whole face covered, not just lips. Rado steps in to help, but puts too much. Now it's extra shiny mode skull. Mitsuki sees this and goes, "Move, amateurs." She steps in, applies moisturizer, fixes her eyebrows, and even gives her a massage. At this point, Aharon just got a free SPA. Meanwhile, you watching can't even afford one loudly crying face. Later in class, Aharon still looks uncomfortable. Rado asks what's wrong. She points to his notebook and says she can't see the board. Rado looks ahead and realizes the problem. The guy sitting in front of her is huge. Bro hit the gym once and never stopped skull. Now he's blocking the entire view. Human wall. Rado tries everything, different angles, positions, nothing works. So in the end, they just sit together. Problem solved. Simple. Aharon thanks him, and Rado is happy, but also sad, because the teacher announces seats will be changed soon. Rado is like, good for her, but also, wait, what about me? Yeah, bro is already emotionally attached, loudly crying face. Later in sports class, Rado's partner doesn't show up. Aharon volunteers. Of course she does. At this point, they're basically a duo. Then in cooking class, they get paired together again. Rado thinks, even if I'm bad at cooking, Aharon is here. Then he looks at her face, and realizes, that was not reassuring skull. So he tries cooking himself, and creates a disaster. Not food, a problem. Aharon steps in, and cooks amazing dishes. Teacher is impressed. They pass. Carried by Aharon as usual, loudly crying face. After class, they go to the rooftop for lunch. As always, Aharon brings meatballs, and feeds Rado. Yeah, we're still doing this. Then she gives him her phone and says, "Record me." And suddenly, she starts doing a weird dance. Like, really weird. Rado watches and thinks she's trying to go viral. Then he remembers, he tried that once, and failed. Miserably. Bro couldn't even go viral in his own house skull, so after all that, Rado watches Aharon dancing and suddenly goes, yeah, we should become YouTubers. Bro aiming for gold play button already skull. He starts imagining everything: fame, millions of subscribers, world tour, basically Mr. Beast plus TikTok plus anime combo. He's like, we'll become the most famous dancing duo in the world. Not just Japan, global. Meanwhile, Aharon is just like, they record the video. Next day, Rado goes alone to check the channel, and sees 2 views, 0 likes. Yeah, reality check just dropped hard skull. And honestly, same thing happens to my videos too. You watch everything, and still don't like or subscribe, loudly crying face. Rado is sitting there like, pain. Then suddenly, a strict teacher enters the class. She sees Rado and Aharon sitting very close, and immediately gets angry. She's like, what is going on here? But then she looks closer, and realizes they're not flirting, they're just studying. And suddenly, her mood changes, because deep inside, she's a romantic too, loudly crying face. Later, she turns around, and sees something shocking. Aharon is sitting on Rado's lap. Teacher has stopped working, but then she realizes, it's just so Aharon can see the board. She calms down, tries to continue teaching. Then again, she turns back. Now Aharon is sitting on his shoulders, because the guy in front is too tall skull. At this point, the teacher is emotionally overwhelmed. She's like, this is beautiful. Meanwhile, Rado is just trying to survive school, loudly crying face. At lunch, Aharon suddenly starts acting weird. Rado thinks she's possessed. Nah bro, she's just thirsty. Man really jumped to ghost theory first skull. Rado then thinks, I should teach her how to express emotions. Which is funny, because this guy has 0 expressions himself, loudly crying face. He tries demonstrating emotions, but his face doesn't change at all. So for us, nothing happened. Then Aharon copies him, and also shows nothing. And somehow, Rado understands it. Yeah, they're communicating in invisible language now skull. Later, they go watch a romantic movie together. Sit close, and both cry at the end. Congrats! You are now officially a couple. Then they play a game, who can make the other laugh. Both try, but no reaction. Nothing. Until Aharon slightly puffs her cheeks. and Rado loses it. Man tried to hold it in, failed instantly, loudly crying face. Then they go to a music shop. Aharon hears a rap beat and suddenly becomes interested in rap. Next day, Rado tries talking in rap, and surprisingly, Aharon is good at it. Like, really good. Rado tries too, and absolutely destroys the entire genre. In a bad way. Skull. That night, he starts practicing at home, with his mom and sister. Family suffering together, loudly crying face. Next day, he comes to school, and only speaks in rap. And Aharon? Still better than him. They spend the whole day talking in rap. Teacher finally says, enough, and basically confiscates their vibe. Skull. After school, they try rapping without a mic, and now, an O sound comes out. Back to silent mode again, loudly crying face. Next day, he comes to school, and Aharon is now a pro. Doing tricks, spinning like a champion. Bro created a monster skull. Aharon is still spinning that fidget spinner like her life depends on it. Rado watches her like, yeah, she's gone. We lost her. He finally tells her, hey, we're in class. Relax. Teacher notices them and misunderstands everything. She thinks Rado is gently teaching Aharon something she doesn't understand. And suddenly, she gets emotional again. In her mind, they're secretly a couple helping each other grow. Meanwhile, reality, spinner goes brrrr. Skull. Aharon is now fully addicted. Rado starts worrying. What if she stays like this forever? But then suddenly, she gives the spinner back, and now, Rado starts spinning it. Uno reverse. And just like her, he also gets addicted. But after some time, he gets bored and forgets about it. Meanwhile, Aharon, still spinning in spirit, loudly crying face. Next day at lunch, Aharon is playing a mobile game. Rado joins in and challenges her. He picks a big scary character, full power, full confidence. Aharon chooses a cute little doll. Rado thinks, easy win. Bro really underestimated her skull. He attacks first, but her character barely takes damage. Then she uses a special move, lightning strike. Rado is like, that did nothing. Next second, his HP drops to 1. Bro almost got deleted, loudly crying face. Turns out, her skill matches opponent's HP to hers. But Rado still thinks, I'm faster. I got this. He attacks again, and her cute little doll dodges and finishes him in one hit. Game over. Rado sits there like, I've been played. Next day, Rado shows up, looking chubby. Aharon is confused like, how did this happen in one day? Then she remembers, she's been feeding him every day. Yeah, she created this problem, loudly crying face. So she starts reading diet books, trying to fix him. Rado walks in, sees the book, and misunderstands completely. He thinks, oh no, she thinks SHE is getting fat. So what does he do? Starts working out himself. Bro joined gym without even asking Skull. Few days later, he's back to normal, and tells her, you're perfect the way you are. Respect plus 100 moment, then gives her a fitness book anyway. Just in case, loudly crying face. Aharon is like, yeah, I don't care anymore. Mood. Then teacher drops the biggest fear, exams are coming. Rado panics instantly, because he lives at the bottom of the class. Skull. He looks at Aharon, she's calm, too calm. So he says, let's study together. They go to the library, and start passing notes instead of studying. Yeah, great plan. They try different places, but still can't focus, because talking, studying, always. Finally, they go back to their desks. Day before exams, they get cleaning duty. Aharon shows up fully ready, like she's on a mission. She loves cleaning, and starts cleaning everything like a machine. No breaks, no mercy. Rado watches and thinks, is she secretly an assassin? Honestly, valid question, loudly crying face. After cleaning, they finally study properly. Aharon helps him finish the entire syllabus. Rado is shocked, grateful, alive. He thanks her sincerely, and suddenly, she hugs him. Yeah, emotional damage plus healing combo. Skull. Then he asks, do you want anything? She says no, she's just happy, because it's her first time helping someone like this. And that hits different. Finally, exams end. Results come out. And Rado scores? Way better than before. Character development unlocked, chart increasing. Later, the teacher says, do whatever you want in the pool. Rado is like, finally, a break. Then he sees Aharon, walking and wearing a full diving suit. Bro, this is a school pool, loudly crying face, not the deep sea. Everyone's just chilling, and she's ready for a submarine mission. Rado convinces her, take that off, this isn't the ocean. They decide to race. Race starts, and immediately, Aharon sinks. Straight down. No hesitation. Rado panics and jumps in to save her, and he sinks too. Because guess what? He also can't swim. Skull. Two non-swimmers decided to race. Amazing planning. Then Mitsuki shows up, and of course, she's actually good at swimming. She offers to teach them. And finally, both of them learn how to swim. Character development in water droplet. Then Mitsuki challenges them to a race. Rado gives his 100%, full effort. But right before the finish line, Aharon passes him. Again. Bro keeps losing to her in everything, loudly crying face. Back in class, they find a ping pong paddle. and decide to play. Aharon serves first and looks like a pro. Rado can't even touch the ball. So he uses his secret technique, which is basically do nothing, let the ball fall. Genius skull. Then he sees Aharon is doing the same thing. Two geniuses in one match, loudly crying face. Next round, they actually start playing properly. Score reaches 10-10. Tension rising. Just when Aharon is about to win, Rado blows on the ball. Yeah, he cheated. Ball misses. Game ends in a draw. Bro saved his ego at all costs skull. Then they try piano and completely fail, so they go bowling. Aharon picks the heaviest ball. Rado thinks she must be a pro again. She lifts it and immediately falls. Ball wins. But somehow, when she throws in her own weird style, she scores. Rado tries normally, loses, then copies her style and scores a bit, still loses overall. At this point, he should just accept his fate, loudly crying face. Then basketball. Aharon is bad at it. Rado finally wins something. He's happy, but then she gets the ball, and suddenly he can't catch her. She turns into Sonic, but in the final shot, she misses. Rado wins again. He's impressed and goes, join my team. Next day, they play together. Score, 50-0. They lost. Badly. Yeah, that was a mistake skull. Later, they play video games. And suddenly, Aharon starts talking loudly, fast, energetic, non-stop. Rado is shocked. He's like, who are you? This is not the Aharon I know. Then, real Aharon appears from behind. Plot twist, the loud one is her little brother. Run. Bro really got catfished by personality, loudly crying face. They introduce themselves, and Rin leaves. Peace restored. Few days later, lunchtime again. Rado asks, let's eat together. Aharon checks her bag and realizes she forgot her lunch. Instant sadness. Rado tries to cheer her up. She decides to go buy food. Rado goes with her. They reach the canteen and see a huge line. Absolute chaos. Crowd everywhere. They just stand there like, yeah, we're not getting food today. Aharon says, I'll go anyway. Rado thinks she'll sneak through quietly. Yeah, good luck with that, loudly crying face. She goes in and gets kicked out immediately. Mission failed. So Rado looks at that long canteen line and says, yeah, let's just wait. But one look at Aharon's face, and it's clear she is not waiting. Bro, she's hungry. This is serious. Also, good food might get sold out. So now it's basically a survival mission. Rado comes up with a genius plan. He lets Aharon sit on his shoulders and pushes through the crowd. Yeah, this is no longer a canteen. This is a boss fight skull somehow. They make it inside. Time to order. Aharon tries to speak, but her voice is so soft, the shopkeeper hears nothing. Again, same problem. Rado thinks, alright, new plan needed. But before he can do anything, he gets pushed out of the crowd. And Aharon? She starts surfing over people. Bro lost control of the situation, loudly crying face. She somehow reaches the counter again, tries to speak, still nothing. So she just grabs a bun and leaves. No words, just action. She comes back to Rado, but clearly that one bun is not enough. Rado looks at her and sacrifices his own lunch. Man gave up his food. Respect chart increasing. They go to the rooftop to eat. And suddenly, a dog shows up with her lunch. Yeah, even the dog is more responsible than her skull. Now they both eat happily. Mission successful. Later in class, their friends suggest a card game. Rado is confident. This game is all about skill. I'm a master. Yeah, famous last words, loudly crying face. Game starts. Rado uses all his strategies, full focus, full brain power. And still Aharon finishes first. Then everyone else finishes, and Rado? He's left with the Joker. He loses. All that strategy, for nothing skull. Round 2. Rado is serious now. But guess what? He gets the Joker again. Bro is cursed, loudly crying face. He still tries everything, refuses to accept defeat, and still loses. At this point, just uninstall the game skull. Frustrated, he asks Aharon, why did you look away earlier? She says, because of how you were looking at me, I felt shy. And Rado? Instantly flustered. Bro got hit with emotional damage. Next day, teachers decide to eat lunch on the rooftop, especially one teacher, who is a hardcore romance fan. Yeah, she lives for this drama, loudly crying face. Then Rado and Aharon show up and start sharing lunch. Teacher sees this, and internally, it's happening. She's trying to stay calm this time, but then she notices Mitsuki spying. Now her brain goes, wait, love triangle? She is not ready for this level of plot skull. Meanwhile, Rado and Aharon notice Mitsuki and go talk to her. Teacher is watching everything like a live drama. She expects Mitsuki to sit close, but Mitsuki sits far away. Now teacher is confused. Plot twist failed. Homeroom teacher gives her water because she's clearly not okay, loudly crying face. Then she sees something even worse. Aharon feeds Mitsuki, and now teacher's brain completely shuts down. She starts overthinking everything. It gets so bad, she starts breathing into a paper bag. Yeah, romance overdose skull. Rado and Aharon are just casually talking, meanwhile teacher is fighting for her life. She somehow calms down, but then sees all three together, and loses control again. Later that night, she goes home, and starts dreaming about them. Yeah, this story broke her completely loudly crying face, so that romance-obsessed teacher goes home, and starts dreaming about Rado and Aharon. In her dream, Rado is suddenly super cool, like, main character upgrade, and Aharon? Extra cute, maximum kawaii mode. Everything is going perfectly, until Aharon slips on a banana peel. Yeah, romance destroyed by fruit skull. She falls, lands on Rado, and accidentally kisses him. Teacher watching this in dream, peak cinema. In real life, her nose starts bleeding, and she passes out in her sleep loudly crying face.